Hey yo YouTube, in my last video I left off where Nina got a vision that we were going to Darval. Um, Apparently whenever I rewatched that video I noticed that I called Nina's homeland Darville where it's Darza. And apparently it's Darv Hall. I've been even saying that wrong the whole time. But yeah, I thought it was funny because you look if you watch it, Johan's like I've never heard of Darval or Darval, and then 5 minutes later, he's like that sounds like Darval. Well, we start off where Onishkar's making his report. One of the wise or the medicine cats named Blue Eyes comes out and talks to him. Pretty much tells him that they're still asleep and stuff. He gives a basic report. She tells him that the wise ones are still asleep. Onyx Scar says that most of the party hasn't rested yet, so they're gonna get there the 8 hour rest time, and he's gonna go to ROH, pick up supplies, and make the report that we were told to make earlier. Oniskar, for the most part, tells the party what's going on. I guess Nina doesn't catch it because later on the player starts talking about how Oniskar went to ROH by himself. How the ogre ends up coming with me. And I'm like, no one was stopping her from coming because her character did get rest, unlike the rest of the party at Onyx. So when I'm in ROH, all I really do is I get end up buying a returning arrow with holy damage. Um, I made a no cloak, and getting some wisdom put onto it, so I leave that. But I go down to the checkout place, and one thing I left out was that the one of the times when we were at the checkout place, they made us name ourselves, and back then I named ourselves Shadow Coalition, and it never really stuck. Like I said, I never even bothered to mention it because it rarely ever gets mentioned. So I go down there and I change our name to Brotherhood of the Lion. And Nina's character is like, you shuts you, uh, uh, and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, you're the one who claims Onyxgar as leader, because that's what he says. He says as Pride Chief, I invoke my right to change our name. Then I think I go hunting and stuff like that, and return the base. And then, like I said, Nina starts talking about how she needs to go to ROH and stuff like that, and so she's always doing a mental message. Like the first few times she didn't explain it. She's like, I just sent a message to Onyx Gar. There was a few times she did this before she explained that it was a magic thing she was doing. Uh, and like I said, she does the Onyx Gar, you still at ROH, and when I kind of map it out, I'm like, no, this girl would probably be back by now. You'd probably be outside of the tent. So she ends up deciding that to not sell all our supplies at ROH, which for the most part we were told to do. Whenever we joined ROH, they were like, we would prefer that any dealings you do deal with us. And this is the second time, like last time she sold supplies, it was in town because I remember the DM asked. Um, and and I remember thinking like you're supposed to sell it at ROH for the first time he did it, and then he was like, "No, I'll just sell it in town." And then this time he sold it in town simply because it was convenient, because he kind of missed the opportunity to go with Onyx Scar, and I told him like, "Your family's never gonna get accepted into ROH." Whenever I make my report at ROH, they do tell us that they really don't have that much restriction in Darvhall, how that's dwarven stuff, and we're gonna have to wait for them to give us permission. Uh, and they do kind of indicate that Johan being here will help. Then in the morning, we do make our report to the wise ones. Tell them our dream. they tell us to go to the Temple of Knowledge and talk to Father Bennett. And before we talk to the wise ones, there was a tree, and Aishkar goes under it, and I see there's the vulture up there again. Um, I put my halberd down, I put some meat on it, and it flies down. And again, I cast speak with animals. I asked if the Vulture King is still if he's still on his mission. He kind of indicates that he just wants he got a lot of fresh meat, and fresh meat is rare in the Vulture dimension. He does say to us that we should have failed the Vulture test, but the Vulture King still spared us, and that after we left, a group of gnolls followed us in, and they weren't able to pass the test, and the vultures did eat and kill them. And when I'm in there with the wise ones, I kind of ask them what is their opinion of the Vulture King, and how someone's been watching us, and I tell them how we should have failed. They kind of just tell me to play it by ear. Because I even say, like, should I escort them with us and stuff like that. I believe it, the vulture did acknowledge that the Vulture King could still see through its eyes. And we go talk to Brother Bennett at the Temple of Knowledge, and besides making the report and stuff, really, the only thing he tells us is that we're supposed to report to Priestess Stonecrusher up there that Johan's already met. And whenever we leave, I bring the vulture with us. We go down to Dar Hall, meet this female priestess. She has like a stone staff. I think her name is Khan Stonecrusher. Most of Johan's group leaves except for Morgana, Basker, and the ancient dwarf. Eventually, like I said, we get to start exploring Dar Hall, and eventually we start seeing the first terracotta statues. Again, I talked about this in the other campaign where, and like I have the DM break it down again for me because some of it I don't fully remember. Where at the beginning we see a hall, kind of a living area, and throughout them there's these terracotta statues, which are pretty much like those Japanese statues that they would bury their emperors with. All of them are like armed with what appears to be dwarven made armor and weapons. The ancient dwarf does confirm that this hall and these terracotta statues were built by the kind of dwarf he is. And I guess this area we're in is declared the 12th Hall of Darval. We do end up seeing the royal throne, and we do see, like, there is a king, queen, and acolytes and stuff like that, statues on them or on and around them. They also tell us that this is known as the Divine City. I asked when we get to a certain spot, or I guess when we get to the part that's called the Divine City, we see two human guards, and I believe, because I asked the DM, like, is this the two? Because this time I don't think he says they're Asian. Uh, I asked him, are these the two Asian ones that Johan took a spear from? And he's like, you notice that all the statues that you looted, which from the actual statues we've only looted a few, they're re-equipped. Some questions end up getting asked about the statue. The female dwarf says that it's believed that there's spirits at each one of them, and Johan's like, it's not a belief, it's true, or it's not a rumor. Me dog went in and spoke to him, which he did, because Basker is a creature of the dimensional plane, from the astral plane. We kind of figured out a way that they could link them, or they could link Basker with the statue, and he'll get inside and go and speak with it. When he spoke with it, it was very like a one-dimensional. It was supposed to just stay here and wait, and whenever a fiend or something would come out, it would activate and it would kill it. And it seemed like that was the only pleasure it lived for, because all of the weapons were like evil outsiders' bane. And then beyond that, we start seeing the statue army. Um, the bulk of the statue army is humans, elves, dwarves, and orcs. Um, but beyond that, there is like a mixture of everything, like even animals. Farther down, we start seeing the generals and stuff like that. Uh, the first time around, like I remember for the character like we took like a battle axe from the orc. So I guess the generals are on the second level, and we're traveling through the heart of, like I said, the divine city. Um, Eventually, we see the entrance or the way to the pyramid. Yeah, pretty much what we see is, like I said, there's a pyramid in the middle, and then there's like five temples around it. Uh, One for each species. Or it might just be four in the pyramid, but there's the human temple, an elf temple, dwarven, and orc. And inside the pyramid, there's like an oval room or something, and it has like paintings or drawings of pretty much like every deity. A few of us make rolls and stuff like that. Like all of us pretty much see the deities that our characters are connected to. So eventually we start seeing things that Johan didn't see, and are parts that Johan never saw. When eventually we get to an area where the statues are exactly like the structure. Onyxgar ends up going down to where the Shadow Pride statue is, and Nina notices that one of the guards is in like police uniform, and she kind of notices the gun that Richter used to use, or the type of gun. Walks up, starts asking about it. Eventually, Johan says something like where he is on the other side of the map, and she looks over and she's like, "Is that Johan?" And it turns out that it's the girl that was from Miravik's world that him and saved whenever he one-shotted the sorcerer. There's also an alcoholic NPC that Johan also knows through the Titans. I don't remember either of their names. I want to say the cop is Vic, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong because I'm probably mixing up her with Mira Vic. So, but they tell us that the Japanese statue things that are like 2,000 years old in our time or in her world are like 2 to 3 times that in these ones that we're looking at. So there's like some kind of hallway that leads to the door. Uh, Nina goes to it, does her little thing, and we enter the waves. And it's the typical, we travel for an hour and a half, come to Island Forest thing, find the paw print. I want to say we travel for another hour and a half, and we come to another wait gate. Um, Enter it. Uh, we're in a really cold environment, like it's like Arctic, I guess. Move forward. End up seeing an Erdophon standing on the map. DM rolls initiative. I have access to the map, so let's old school DSP this. So, like I said, we see a Erdophon. Um, at first, we just see one, and if you look on the map, like it's a really narrow passage right here. So we kind of get bottlenecked. So at some point, it's getting blocked by two of the big characters, two of our big characters, and Johan and both Ivan, who right now is down there, are both north to here, and Johan tries to run through him and hit this guy. But Nina's player points out that moving through to friendly targets is tough terrain, so it'll be double movement. So I guess since they're both large, uh, instead of it being 20, it'll count as 40, or instead of it being 10, it's 20. Either way, with that, I have to do a double movement that I can't charge and I'm not able to hit. And then, like, I start asking, well, how did Ivan? Because as you can see, Ivan got past them and over here, and I'm pretty sure he was able to attack. So I'm like, well, how was he able to do it? And he's like, well, Ivan has 50 movement. I'm like, Johan has 40. uh, Eventually, it gets cleared up, and I guess since he's a monk, he doesn't get slowed by terrain. And it's like, all right, that makes sense. And as we go farther in, we see that there's three hags. This one's one of them. This one's one of them. And then there's a big one under Kohaku under here. And at one point, Basker does a double movement and blocks these two off. For the most part, they're just shooting with arrows. Basker and Johan, being slightly higher level, they have extremely good hit points. And particularly Johan is tank based, so for the most part, I could be pretty brave with them in this group. The regular mob goes out pretty easy. The only thing worth really mentioning is like Ivan stays there like this whole fight, and like all three hags for the most part are just wailing on him. He keeps on having to do fortitude check, which he passes most of them. I think he fails one or two, but I can't remember what it does. And then when all the witches end up getting killed, like they all raise back up and they all start chanting Charu Chi tree or something like that. And this wicker man explodes out of the ground, and we continue to fight with him. Uh, he goes down a lot quicker than we expected because, like, Nina ends up doing like some kind of frost attack, and because like she sees it's on fire, like after she does it, she asks the DM if the fire's out, and he says no. And then just like two or three hits later, Onyxgar comes up and does like 50 something on a power attack charge, and ends up dropping it, and like when Nina's player kind of questions it, pretty much the DM ends up confirming that the ice attack did like double damage or extra damage, and apparently a lot of Nina's fire spells on the hags were also doing extra damage, or they couldn't regenerate it. So mob cleared. The DM asked what we do. Raw right, like always, starts looting, and normally Johan does the same, but since these are hags, he points out that a member of the Titans, Aradina, is on a hunt for a particular hag, and the Hobgoblin will be able to speak to these dead bodies. So if there's a way we could send them to him, and no one answers him, so I say, all right, since no one answers him, he starts putting him in his bag of holding. And the DM says all three of them. I say the two regular sized ones, and then the big one, I chop its head off. And that's where the DM ends up wrapping it up. One thing I'm excited about is that we finally got a game scheduled for the higher level campaign, the Band of Titans, on July 11th. So that should be fun. As for future predictions, I have no idea what's gonna be in this ice world except for some like ice trolls or something. Because like I said, the DM or we were recently told not everywhere we're going to go is going to be Wemmicks. It's just going to be the right place. Um, I was thinking some of those were going to like loose dreams because we have seen because like one place there was a bugbear that was working for a tiefling, and then somewhere else there was a place where there was a vampire lord. So I was thinking maybe we were gonna do some of those storylines during this. Uh, but none of those I think had to do with an ice-like place. So you want to find out, watch my next video, and you want to know the whole story, watch all my videos, and check you later.